The band Fight should have been bigger. This was Rob Halford's band he formed after quitting Judas Priest. Their debut album came out in 1993 called War of Words. Halford wrote every song and produced the album. He brought along with him Priest's amazing drummer Scott Travis, and he hired 3 young, talented musicians. His lead guitar player was named Russ Parrish. He would go on to be the guitar player for Steel Panther and go by the name of Satchel. A lot of fans were mad that Rob left Priest. That might be one reason the album didn't connect. In my opinion, it should be talked about with all the classic metal albums. To me, it sounds like a mixture of Priest, Pantera, and Metallica. In 1995, they released an album called A Small Deadly Space. It was a much darker album and the sound changed because Russ Parrish left the band. If you're interested, check out these 4 songs: For All Eternity, Little Crazy, Reality, A New Beginning, and the title track, War of Words. The band Tinted Windows should have been bigger. They were a supergroup with Bunny Carlos from Cheap Trick on drums, James Iha from the Smashing Pumpkins on guitar, Adam Schlesinger from Fountains of Wayne on bass, and singer Taylor Hanson from Hanson. They are the definition of power pop. They were formed in 2009 and released a self-titled album that year. Once I heard who their drummer was, I was immediately on board. I have 4 Cheap Trick tattoos, so I was hoping for the best. Their first single was called Kind of a Girl, and wow, I loved it after the first minute. It's so catchy, energetic, and has cool, relatable lyrics. Seriously, it has so many hooks, it's unbelievable. The whole album is like that. I love heavy metal and hard rock, but this is one of my favorite albums of all time. It got mixed reviews from jaded critics, but I never cared what they think. The songs are irresistible and sugar sweet. Unfortunately, Adam died in 2020 from COVID-19. Take a chance if you're remotely into power pop. If you're interested, check out the songs Messing With My Head, Back With You, Take Me Back, and Can't Get a Read on You. The band Oleander should have been bigger. They were formed in my town, Sacramento, California, in 1995. I've seen them live 9 times. Their major label debut, called February Sun, was released in 1999. I love this album. The 2 hits were called I Walk Alone and Why I'm Here. They performed at Woodstock 99 and they appeared on the American Pie and Scary Movie soundtracks. Their second album, released in 2001, was called Unwind. The big hit was called Are You There? Their third album, called Joyride, came out in 2003. The song called Rainy Day was my favorite song from any band ever for over 2 years. Yeah, it's that good. If you want to hear a good song, go check it out. I think everyone should know it. Their album called Something Beautiful was released in 2012. I'm biased, but I really liked it. I had a friend who knew Thomas Flowers, the singer, and I got to meet him. He was very humble and cool. If you're interested, check out the songs Rainy Day, I Walk Alone, You'll Find Out, and Tightrope. The band Pretty Girls Make Graves should have been bigger. They were formed in Seattle in the year 2001. Their bass player, named Derek Fudesco, was previously in one of my favorite bands of all time called the Murder City Devils. I'll admit, I have a soft spot for them since I respect what he created with them. Lucky for me, the music he created with this new band is just as great. Singer Andrea Zolo used to be in several bands with Derek and Dan Gallucci, who helped form the Murder City Devils. They released a self-titled EP in 2001. Their debut album, called Good Health, came out in 2002. Their 2003 album, called The New Romance, is one of the best albums I've ever heard. Even 20 years later, it sounds fresh and vibrant. Their final album was released in 2006 called Elan Vital. They had several lineup changes and this affected their sound. They broke up in 2007. Let me know if you've ever heard of them. If you're interested, check out the songs Speakers Push the Air, This Is Our Emergency, Chemical Chemical, and The Getaway. The band Nailbomb should have been bigger. They were a side project formed by Max Cavalera of Sepultura and Alex Newport from the band Fudge Tunnel. I was just getting into Sepultura when Point Blank came out in 1994. It blew my mind from the opening notes to the very end. The album artwork is very controversial, but Max insists the woman in the photo lived. I guess one could say they didn't want to get big since they only played 2 shows ever. I would describe their sound as hardcore industrial thrash metal. The most radio-friendly song is called World of S. After 29 years, I still don't know all the lyrics. It's one of the most angry, brutal, and best albums I've ever heard. Their live album is called Proud to Commit Commercial Suicide. I'm shocked by how many people don't know this masterpiece. Soulfly played the entire album live a few years ago. I was the first person in line in Seattle. If you're interested, check out the songs Wasting Away, Vai Toma no Ku, Gorillas, and Religious Cancer. The band, The Start, should have been bigger. They're a Los Angeles band that was formed in 1998. The singer's name is Amy Echo. I discovered them when they opened up for one of my favorite bands called Finch in a tiny club in Sacramento in 2002. Usually when there's an opening band I've never heard of, I can't wait for them to get off the stage. It took 1 minute for me to become a fan of their band. As soon as they were done, I went to the merch booth and bought their debut album called Shakedown. It has a retro 80s sound. If you told me it came out in 1982, I'd believe you. I can't stress this point enough. It is a crime that everyone doesn't know their song called Gorgeous. It's absolutely amazing. It's definitely my favorite song from them. They released a couple more albums and changed band members many times. They toured with Garbage, AFI, Alkaline Trio, Incubus, and Weezer. As of 2023, they're on hiatus, but recently played a show for charity. If you're interested, check out the songs Gorgeous, Shakedown, Nemesis, and Communion. The band Ghost of an American Airman should have been bigger. They were formed in Belfast, Northern Ireland in the mid-80s. Their first album, called Someday, came out in 1988. Life Under Giants came out in 1992. The whole album is good, but these songs really stand out to me, She and Whipping Boy. Their last album, called Skin, released in 1993, is a masterpiece. The singer's name is Dodge McKay. Here's a fun fact. He followed me on Instagram for a while. I don't know what I did, but he unfollowed me. The first song I ever heard from them was called King of Nothing. It's a driving rock song that I think is amazing. The songs War Boys, Buried at Sea, Clown Number 2, Country, Late Great World Collapse, Beautiful, and Fairy Tale World, in my opinion, are perfect. I somehow got the email address of Matt, the drummer, in 1998. My favorite part is when he asked how I got it. He said Atlantic Records dropped them because of their name when the Gulf War broke out. Hollywood Records picked them up. The guy at the label who fought for the band was fired. He then went on to Atlantic Records and signed Hootie and the Blowfish. Please check this band out. You'll love them. The band Monaco should have been bigger. Peter Hook from Joy Division and New Order fame and David Potts formed Monaco in 1995. They were in a band called Revenge together. They released their debut album called Music for Pleasure in 1997, with the first single being called What Do You Want From Me? It's 100% one of my favorite albums of all time. Imagine a happier New Order. In all honesty, I do skip a couple of tracks. David's voice and Peter's bass lines were on fire. The song called Blue is my favorite ballad from any band. They made one more album before breaking up. They now play together in Peter Hook and the Light. I met Peter in San Francisco one time and had the CD of Music for Pleasure for him to sign. He told me it was nice to see that album, and I told him how much I loved it. I met David in 2022 after a show, and I asked him if Monaco will ever tour again, and he told me, I think we missed that boat, mate. If you're interested, check out the songs What Do You Want From Me, Blue, Buzzgum, and Shine.